All right, family. So I guess in this video we are going to be talking about should you get a dual sport dirt bike? If you are one of those people that grew up riding a dirt bike and you still want to continue it, but you don't want to ride strictly in the dirt, that's one reason to get yourself a dual sport dirt bike. However, if you don't really expect or if you really don't feel safe riding in the street and you are buying a dirt bike and you want the pure experience of trail riding, enduro riding, then you should get a straight up dirt bike. Do not get a dual sport. And here is why. Dual sports come with larger gas tanks so you can go farther, right? This is a Suzuki DR200. This thing gets about 70 miles per gallon. So it comes with a larger gas tank, which means it holds more gas, which makes it a little more heavier. Also, it comes with a metal gas tank as opposed to a plastic one that comes on most dirt bikes. So what that means is this added weight makes it more difficult to handle in the trails. All right. So that's another thing for you to consider. Um, Also, then you want to get into whether you want to buy a two stroke or a four stroke. This is a four stroke engine, so it produces a lot less power than a two stroke engine does. However, it also means that there's less maintenance. Um, Another thing to consider if you are going to get a dual sport dirt bike is you'll be able to ride it on the street, and that's a plus. So being able to just go run errands or go to an event, you'll be able to ride in the street on a dual sport dirt bike. Well, you cannot do that if it's a pure dirt bike. The problem with dual sport dirt bikes is that even though they are made for the street and they are made for the dirt, they're not ideal for either. For instance, this DR200 can take me up the street to the store, no problem. I can cruise at 50 miles per hour, 55, no problem. But as soon as I hit 60, 65, the light weight of this thing, it's only about 200 pounds. The tires are skinnier than the sport bike tires, so it feels a little squirrely when you're on the highway. And if you are on the highway on this thing and a big Mack truck comes by, you feel all the wind and you get more feedback from the steering and the suspension, and it takes more to stay on balance. It's not impossible. You can do it. I have done it. But I'm just saying it's not ideal. That would be a reason to get a sport bike as opposed to a dual sport. However, if you're just going, short distances and you don't need to be on the freeway too often, this can get on the freeway for an exit or two. But as soon as you start to want to go higher than 65, it starts to feel a little suspect, and you're going to start to wish that you got an actual sport bike instead of a dual sport bike, because this isn't made for the highway. This is made for the dirt. The good thing about a dual sport bike is that it does have the dirt bike qualities that you look for. It sits higher, right? You sit higher. They're taller than sport bikes, and they are rugged. You can drop this thing a million times and not have any damage done to it. This thing is a tank. It goes through anything. And so that's when it still keeps its dirt bike DNA, right? Because you can be on the street and you can cut through a trail, you can cut through a park and hop out on the other side of that park and be in the street. Check your local legal listings on that. However, I'm a little bit of a rebel, so I like taking the shortcut. I like having knobby tires so that I can ride on the grass, I can ride on the rocks and the gravel and the sand. This thing is amazing in that sense. And so if you're just trying to figure out whether or not you should get a dirt bike or a sport bike, or whether you should get a dual sport in particular, or a sport bike, this thing, they have their own character, they have their own charm. And the charming thing about a dual sport dirt bike is where you can take it. I have friends that are riding in the trails this weekend, and I'm bringing this. You know what I mean? There's a parade going on locally near me, and I can't get. I don't need to get on the highway to get there. I know how cool this thing is. I think I may just take this and go for a leisure ride to go and check stuff out. Um, so if you don't want to go, if you don't have a desire to go 120 miles per hour, a dual sport is perfect for you. If you just are looking for something to cruise to the store, and if you want the option to go off road, then a dual sport bike will be perfect for you. It is not perfect for someone who is looking for a beast in the trails, because these won't do it. They'll be too heavy compared to your other dirt bike riding friends. They're going to be riding YZ 125s and all the other things, and they're going to be faster. Those bikes are going to produce more power, and they're going to be lighter. So that combination means they'll probably leave you unless you are super skilled. Um, I'm not super skilled. I just got this thing maybe a month ago. I've been riding my sport bike. If you can see in the other videos, I also ride a ZX10R, and I got this so that I could have some fun in the trails. And this video is more about what I've been learning since I've owned this thing. It is very trail capable. However, it does have its limits, and it does have um, some issues that make it harder than it should be for a dirt bike to get through trails. I've done hill climbs in this thing. I've dropped it a bunch of times, and this thing is a beast. It is rugged, and it's hard to kill. You know what I mean? And that's what we love about dirt bikes, and that's what we love about dual sports. I mean, even the hand guards here, they're so rugged. You know, it's hard to bend the handlebars. The rear view mirrors turn inward, and it makes it more of a dirt bike. And I just want to be clear, it is a dirt bike, but I'm talking about the differences between a dual sport bike and an official dirt bike. You understand what I'm saying? I am curious to know what you guys think. I'm curious to know what you guys are riding. The Suzuki DR200 has been a great bike for me. I taught my daughter how to ride on this thing. And that's another thing to consider. If you want something that's a smaller CC engine and you want to learn how to ride, get yourself a dual sport, throw some dual sport tires or throw some street tires on it and get to learning. It's very forgiving. You know, if you give it too much gas, you're not going to, you know, pop a loop. You're not going to loop or pop a wheelie. I mean, you can, but it's going to be really hard on a smaller CC engine. And I know that for the Suzuki DR200 in general, there are not a lot of videos on this thing. So if you have any questions, or if you want to share that you have one, put it in the comments. Make your own video, tag me in it. I like to see content around these things because they're hard to find. So I'm going to be shooting a little more. If you want to go back through the catalog, you'll see that I have some riding videos on this thing. I've probably fallen off of this thing 8 times. I'm fine. But yeah, it's a great option for you to consider if you're looking for a dual sport dirt bike. If you are looking for a pure dirt bike, just know that there are differences between this and a pure dirt bike. All right, this is going to be a little heavier, but it's still just as capable, you know, more or less. That's all I got for now on you guys on this thing. As always, take care of yourself and me. I'm gonna take care of myself for you, and we'll come back and have more of these discussions. All right, peace.